3, 2, 1. That was from the Wonder Woman soundtrack, commonly featured in the Justice League film. That was my rendition. Yeah,
That's
there you go.
Woman's theme.
There's a bit, yeah. I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks. This is Sardonicast.
I'm you just a movie maker.
And I'm Zack Snyder. I mean, Alex from Archie.
Oh, okay.
We saw it.
Do you want to talk about the Snyder Cut?
I guess
We
gotta. That's the only reason I watched it.
Okay. I want you guys to talk more about it. I'm saving my opinion for, the future.
What?
But I'll still discuss this, of course. But I'm making.
Oh, you just don't want to say whether or not you liked it.
No, I'm making a long review, so I don't want to reveal too much.
Okay, you can save little bits.
Yeah, but of course I'll if you say something, I'll be like, of course I feel that way. I'll confirm or deny.
Okay.
I obviously, of course I want to have a conversation.
All right, then keep your secrets. Okay, so Alex, what did you think of the film?
Yeah, what'd you think?
I find this movie to be utterly fascinating. The whole story behind it is interesting in and of itself. So it is confusing and difficult to not get lost in what is ultimately being boiled down into this kind of comparison game between this original movies. So my gut feeling right now is that I kind of like it, but it is really kind of pretentious and has a lot of Zack Snyderisms that we're all very used to, but there's no denying that it is so superior to the original cut, the theatrical cut, that I found much more value in it, and the characters have much more room to breathe. It was the action in particular I found to be so much better. But top level speaking, I was surprised by how I was able to sit through the full 4 hours in one go and enjoy the Snyderisms for what they are. And there is just something unique about this project to me, because it's almost not a movie. It's kind of a mini-series squished into a movie. It's just utterly unique and fascinating to me. So on those grounds, I do kind of like that we got it at least. But I'm fascinated what you guys think, because you, of course, didn't see the original cut, and you still haven't, right?
Exactly. I was the only person on the planet that got the pure experience, right? Everybody else, you didn't watch the same movie as me. You watched an improvement off of a worse movie. I just watched a movie, right?
It changes the conversation so much.
That's the entire conversation of what's happening. So I was like, from Charlie Kaufman's novel, I saw a movie that nobody else did. It's like Ant Kind,
Yeah.
Like nobody else could possibly see the same movie that I did. So, yeah, it wasn't great. I don't know. I can imagine if I was really happy with this, even after a worse thing. I don't know if I would still call it good, but it makes me intrigued, and it makes me fascinated to check out the Whedon cut. But I just want to mention also that I find it kind of ridiculous and stupid that Warner Brothers and everybody along with Warner Brothers gets to pass the blame off onto Joss Whedon, because his cut wasn't what made it into the original movie anyway, because it was supposed to be 2 hours and a half or something, and then Warner Brothers was trim it down for theaters, and that's why it's exactly 2 hours. So it's not like it was his cut anyway. A lot of the reason why it was bad could also be just because of Warner Brothers, but now they get to pretend oh yeah, it was just this, this guy, he's been Me Too'd, right? Let's blame this guy, right? So
right.
Yeah, and then even with Snyder's cut, he didn't even get the final cut. He was supposed to have Green Lantern at the end, and they made him change the end scene, and he almost quit over it. So it's not even the Snyder cut. They're not holding to their principles.
Martian Man. Oh, I don't know if we're going to spoil it.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Snyder Cut.
Yeah, spoilers.
There's a scene at the end with Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And it's Martian Manhunter. Well, I thought that
the
whole
epilogue is the worst part.
Yeah. Well, I thought everything with Martian Manhunter was ridiculous.
That was the most bloated part. Was that scene?
Yeah.
I laughed out loud when that reveal of Martha turning into him came out of nowhere.
What the hell was that? It was so bizarre.
Bizarre.
It wasn't even necessary. It seems like they just added that in post-production, what would be really cool right here? Oh, she becomes Martian Manhunter, CGI. It didn't even make any sense.
Yeah, it's it's such a result of just rushing to try and be Marvel, and it's like 3 Avengers movies in one. Basically, it's trying to do everything that was spread out over years with these Marvel movies, but in one bloated 4-hour mess. It's trying to establish like 3 or 4 new characters. It's adding in new ones, like you said, into this new cut. It's so bloated and messy, and it's establishing like incredibly important characters like Flash, Cyborg, the villain of the movie, and then the even greater like Thanos equivalent villain. There's so much going on, and it does suffer because of it, and you can't have the kind of fun, like Avengers moments, because you've just got so much extra stuff to set up and explain and over-explain.
The implication is that this is the culmination of events, but the events are just in this movie. And so it's like, oh, okay. They want to try and do the whole Avengers Affinity War, as Derek Savage would say, Endgame shit, right? They have the Thanos version, DC, But like, you look at the release dates of the movies that are in this universe. Man of Steel 2013, that started it all. Batman v Superman 2016. So Batman gets introduced in the Batman v Superman movie. Doesn't have his own Batman movie. Suicide Squad, same year, 2016. And then is that a part of the universe still? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yes.
Because that's getting
I
remade,
don't know
but I
anymore.
guess that's a new universe. Okay. Wonder Woman the next year, 2017. And then Justice League the same year, 2017. That's it. That's literally it. Like, Aquaman had a movie after Justice League, right? For some reason, they wanted to pump out Justice League as quickly as possible. Either A, because Infinity War was like a hyped up thing around the same time. When did that come out? I don't know. It was around the same time, right? So I think either they were trying to like piggyback off the success, or Warner Brothers as a studio assumed that everybody would be done with superhero movies after Avengers Endgame or something. They assumed like nobody's gonna keep watching superhero movies like after this point. Right? It seemed like they were trying to like quickly capitalize on something because they were afraid that they wouldn't be able to in like 5 years from now. Because that's all they would have needed if they wanted to like actually develop the universe and have it realistically get up to that point. It's just another 5 years or something, right?
It's so spineless too, considering like they easily could have made a Batman movie and been huge, popular. Like there's no excuse for that. It was just this disgusting just mess of corporate decisions all coming together into this, and there is kind of a redemption story behind it, because the sad way Snyder was kind of ripped off the project, and him being able to at least have something put back together that does reflect his vision more. Because I mean, honestly, out of the 3 movies he's done in this universe, I think this is the best one. It's the most tonally consistent. It has probably the best moments.
It's the only one I've seen. So, again, we're talking about improvements, but...
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you're not wrong. I think it has so many of the problems Snyder's had for so long with, I think the dialogue's very weak. Some of the effects work is kind of bizarre.
The dialogue's fucking terrible.
Yeah, and I just I can't get on with Gal Gadot. Like the acting is so distracting to me.
I hate characters in this. Like I don't know how much I hate Marvel characters. Like there are some that are kind of annoying. But this movie I actively hate. Like the Flash, I cannot stand the Flash and how he is in this movie.
Oh, you don't like him in this version?
I hate
he's
the
worse
comedy.
than the other one.
Okay, yeah, like I have no frame of reference for how much worse he can get in Justice League, but
Henry Cavill is no CGI lip in this, at least from what I could see. The reshoots are very noticeable, very distracting in the other one.
Oh yeah,
Ben Affleck just looks completely different in different points of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds so much
in the
fun.
reshoots in here he looks different too.
I want to watch that one.
Skinnier. Yeah, you should.
It sounds like so much.
It's so
fun.
bizarre, the whole thing, how this came out.
It's a relic.
Yeah.
It's the mother box of movies.
It's no Marvel. Like, Marvel is the big game in town, and they just can't compete. I think what Zack Snyder came up with is just, it's not like some kind of auteur project. These are like big budget superhero movies. I thought people wanted to see something more like Marvel, which is why they make a lot of money.
I'm totally for a director's creativity on a project, But Zack Snyder has his name on like most of the films in this universe, or at least half of them up until the point of Justice League, right? And so it's like, if it's tonally inconsistent, even with the movies that he's directed, what's the fucking point of having them all the same story, right? Like, you could, I guess, make an argument like, oh yeah, every director wants to do their own film a different way. It's like, okay, that's fine, but it's the same director, and the tone's completely different than the other movies. Like, if he got his way, if let's say the disaster didn't happen and he was still on the project with Warner Brothers and everything was hunky dory and he was just able to do his thing, it still wouldn't be black and white. It wouldn't be 4:3. Like, these are things that would not happen. It wouldn't be 4 hours. I guess this one's not black and white either. That was an idea he kind of teased, but it wouldn't be 4 hours and it wouldn't be 4:3. Like, that's for sure. The only reason it's 4 hours is because it's streaming content and you don't have to fill up as many theater blocks, I think. I don't know. It's just the whole concept behind it seems like iffy, you know? It seems like, it seems gimmicky and almost like a scam, because we didn't really get the Snyder Cut still.
Like a scam.
It does, because it
kind of is.
They made him change the last scene. What's the point? Okay, one change. What's the difference between that and 2 changes?
And the society line.
I wanted to mention one of the big additions for me was Jared Leto's Joker that was added in, like in the Apocalypse section. And I wanted to know what you guys saw of that. I thought it was really funny. Like the whole.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't trying to be funny. I don't think
I
so.
found
It's
the whole
cringe.
epilogue to be embarrassing.
It's very cringe.
That was all clearly reshoots. Like, and Mira's there. I'm like, why the fuck is Mira there? Like, the CGI
It was a
and
part of his vision
Cyborg.
the whole
I'm like,
time,
oh my
though.
God. That was really funny. Like, the dialogue.
They got him to say we live in a society, but they didn't put him in the movie. It's just in the trailer.
Yeah.
They tried to do meme marketing.
Yeah, but it's like, why is he saying it? Like, it doesn't make sense.
But we do live in a society, so.
So that was direct meme marketing then? Like, it was riding a meme.
Is it fan service
it's
if
ludicrous.
it's used to mock the film? Because that's why the meme exists, is to like mock people who pretend to be Joker, or like to mock the character, right? Like, it's not like a positive Joker meme. It's literally just like, this is dumb. It's like anti-humor, the we live in a society thing. So for a film that's unironically trying to make a serious movie out of it, to use that in their marketing shows how out of touch they are. Really. Like, come on.
I'm just curious how that call went with like Jared Leto. He's just fine with it, I guess.
He's just happy to continue doing his Jared Leto Joker nonsense for one more film, you know?
Because they changed his look again, didn't they?
He's like
I
Jesus
don't remember
now.
the damage being on there.
Yeah. He's got a bunch of lipstick smeared on his face. There's no scars. Doesn't look intimidating. It's like they put the makeup on him
he
in
never
like
did.
5 seconds. Well, he
they
never
kind of
did.
cheat coded this DC universe by implying that loads of the famous DC stories that everyone loves have happened in the universe, or they're going to happen, because the Flash time travel stuff is kind of setting up one of my favorite like DC stories, the Flashpoint Paradox, where it's like all time travel and Elseworld stuff, which is like a fun story when it's told properly and you have the setup and of like the original characters to contrast against. In this universe, you've had a kind of dour Superman who then is killed, and then he comes back and he's like the one you imagine he would be. I feel like there needed to be like a Man of Steel 2 where they established who he was a bit more as a hero or something. It's just all so rushed and no one's given a chance to be developed. Like Batman 2, everyone was ragging on in like the second movie where he was killing people, and the Snyder fans have their defenses and stuff for it, but it's all implied in ways that I don't find to be satisfying, like on any level really. It's all like back end. You've got to fill in the blanks just based on your prior knowledge of the work. It's just inherently unsatisfying.
But I don't have any. I don't have prior knowledge.
Yeah, the films are very spaced out too. It isn't like Marvel where they come out basically. Sometimes there's 2 a year or yearly. Like you said, Man of Steel is 2013, and we're 2021 now, and you're finally getting a Justice League movie that actually is like worth something. Like the Zack Snyder's vision, as close to it as you're gonna get. It's too spaced out for anyone to even remember.
It really shows how much they messed up, though. Because I mean, like beforehand, DC, they were the superheroes. You know, Marvel's always had Spider-Man, but Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, like Justice League potentially could have been huge if they'd, read the tea leaves a little bit better. But
Marvel brought everyone together. They're a team.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stop them. Yeah. Zack Snyder, I think, released a lot of the plans he had for like this universe, which is probably not going to happen now. Like Amy Adams and Superman have a kid, and that kid becomes like Batman.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know. Like it's whatever. It's like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the plan sounded really
and
bad.
then goes back in time and then kills his dad.
Yeah, like he had like a whole thing planned out, but it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the current drama, isn't it? There are people signing petitions and everything to
They want an
restore the
Cut.
Snyderverse.
Oh yeah, the air cut.
Oh, yeah,
That's not
and
going to
the air
happen. That's
cut.
funny.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
but it's ridiculous.
We really
yeah.
want to see his creative vision here.
That movie is beyond repair. You cannot repair. Like, that movie's a piece of shit. There's no way
I
you can
mean,
make that good.
if it meant like half an hour more cringe Joker, I would agree. I would sign that petition because I want to see that. That was like the only entertaining part of the movie.
True, actually. Because didn't they shoot like hours worth of Joker stuff?
Yeah, Jared Leto got pissed or something.
Yeah. There was like a whole movie worth of Joker stuff for that.
Joker 2?
And then they were like,
And,
this is unusable.
Yeah, the scene
Jared.
in this movie was like really poorly shot. Like lots of handheld close up. He was like out of focus when he was like holding up the
Yeah,
card.
it felt very restricted.
He had like a SWAT vest on. His laugh, I wasn't a fan of his laugh. I thought it was like, yeah, basically, like that's better. That was, I don't know, the whole, yeah, it's like that. It's like a whining duck.
It's like the My Glasses kid in The Simpsons.
Oh jeez.
So, Adam, are you telling me you weren't a fan of the anti-life equation? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No.
They
it
said
was
mother
stupid.
box a lot too.
I think that
It was
I think that the whole plot is just a fucking mess. I think it's like it's so stupid how nothing makes any sense and it just contradicts itself. And it's like you've had so many years to think about this, and you have the benefit of hindsight too, right? Like you get to fix everything in a way that like no other director has because you understand like what's stupid and what doesn't work. I don't know exactly what total was new for this film and what wasn't. A lot of the motivation for the villain seems to be Darkseid forgot that Earth was the planet that he left these boxes on, even though they were already warping to the boxes to get them. Like they discover after the fact, they're like, it's stupid. It's honestly stupid. And I got Google does these like recommended articles or whatever on the homepage for me, and I got one either this morning or yesterday, where Zack Snyder reveals why Darkseid forgot where the anti-life equation was in Justice League, and his answer.
What was it?
Quote, he almost died when he returned to Apokolips. He was in a fight for power, and much time passed before he was in a position of power again. And by then, all who had been with him had been slayed. So he forgot.
He didn't remember. Yeah, he forgot.
He was like kind of traumatized. So
Yeah, he just forgot where it was.
Everybody else that was there like died of old age or something at some point. And nobody bothered to like write this down. And it's so important, the implication when they reveal like, oh, this is the same planet where that flashback was. Like, obviously it's important. Otherwise that wouldn't mean anything.
Well, yeah, the whole mother box thing, it's basically the equivalent of the Infinity Stones, effectively.
The Transformers
if you compare
boxes.
the way they were.
It's the
It's like the
Machina.
MacGuffin thing.
The Deus Ex Machina.
McMuffin.
But they were never set up in any of the other movies. You would have thought they would have been established somewhere in the universe beforehand, but were just kind of thrown into it.
I mean, neither was Cyborg or Flash.
Exactly.
A lot of the characters
No,
weren't.
Cyborg's just the first time you see him.
Aquaman,
and apparently the
too,
mother
I mean.
box is used to make him. I don't know if that was in the other cut. I don't think it was.
What?
Cyborg being made by the mother box. Like, that's part of the story.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
I don't understand why they had to have the team coming together in the movie. I mean, there are plenty of Justice League movies where like the team's already established and they're just having antics. I feel like that would have been a much more intelligent way to approach it. If they did want to jump into the deep end, you could have actually done something with that.
Yeah, that's kind of what they do anyway.
Yeah, sort of.
It all the setup and everything just felt more rushed than it usually does with like these kinds of cinematic universe things. I would have liked that better, yeah.
But Adam, you said this doesn't make sense, but this is the version that makes sense. Like, it makes much more sense than the original one.
Yeah, does it?
Cyborg in the original was bizarre. The Flash is bizarre and doesn't get any time. There's so much stuff that is different.
Yeah, but again, I don't know. I think it's a weird conversation when it's like, yeah, this doesn't make sense, but it could have been even less make sense. It's like, yeah, it's an improvement off of like a turd, I guess, but I don't know. I haven't seen it.
That's what I mean. That's like the only thing I would say about it. It's an improvement, and it makes
Isn't
more
that weird
sense.
though? How much of an effect that has on people? This is in the top 250 on IMDb. If this was released on its own without the original Justice League, would it be there? I'm not sure it would be. I think that this kind of thing happens all the time.
Is it really in the top 250?
I think that a lot of people had like, yes, it is on the top 250 on IMDb.
Ratings were extremely high for it. Yes,
I think that there's a lot of people that might have like thought that M. Night's Split was like a lot better than they would have otherwise if he hadn't released a bunch of crap before it, you know? Like I think that this is like a real psychological effect where people make comparisons, and it's like because the expectations are so low, and because, you know, like, are you more impressed if someone can like roll a joint with 2 arms or 1? Right? 10 out of 10.
I don't know what happened there with the ratings. It's very bizarre how high they are.
Yeah, it's an 8.3 currently from 200,000 plus people.
It was much higher before that.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
It was like right under Akira Kurosawa's Ran.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is why like these like IMDb's top 250 is just becoming less and less relevant.
On every review site, though,
yeah,
the ratings were like that. They were extremely high for really no reason.
Because it was
what is
better.
the reason? Is it because it's superheroes?
The movie was like 4 hours long, and it just came out.
Yeah. I mean, people were rating it like before they saw it too.
Yeah, that too. Not that you can't just watch the movie and
yeah,
but you know, to have like that amount of consensus that it's like in the top 250 like immediately, like I don't know, I'm a little trepidatious.
They want it to be good too. Remember that this isn't just a movie to a lot of DC fans. This is like a validation. This is like we get to be accepted. This is like the gay rights movement, but for DC fans. This is like this is like when you finally get the Pride Parade and you're like, man, it really is okay to be a DC fan. This is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So,
but it's a comic book movie. It's
exactly. They finally get to be comfortable with their identity. It's much more than a film.
There's another thing I wanted to shit on. Martian Manhunter, definitely. Like, that was silly. With Jared Leto, like, all that stuff was awful. Like, I don't know.
There's a lot.
Anything else?
There's a lot.
Yeah, but like that was a big part. Like Jared Leto part. That was what I was looking forward to. That's the only reason I watched it.
Okay.
And it's like, you know, it's like 3.5 hours into the movie or whatever. It was like the 5th ending of the movie, because, you know, there's the big battle, which is how the original Justice League ends. You know, it ends with the big battle where Superman kills the guy, Steppenwolf, and then the movie ends. But in this one, they fight the guy, it ends, and then there's like the whole apocalypse thing. Then there's like him meet Martian Manhunter at his house, like Ben Affleck meeting Martian Manhunter at his house in the mansion. Like there's all this other shit added onto it. It's like Lord of the Rings, like 3 endings at the end.
Yeah, it is all about just comparisons to the other movies, because I was finding
so bloated.
Yeah, it's like it's just following along Snyder's career. Like, oh yeah, you're like learning a bit from these things that were mistakes in the previous movies. Like, I was really expecting for there to be you won't know this, Adam, but in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, the kind of third act just turns into this ridiculous, dreary explosion fest, right? Where you can barely even tell what's going on. But I found the action much better paced throughout the kind of movie, and much more creative and just better executed than anything he's done in those previous movies. Maybe there's like one really good fight scene in Batman v Superman, but I mean,
and here too, you're right. The action sequences are better done and like more intense. Like there's the whole battle with Wonder Woman, like toward the beginning. It's like much more intense.
Yeah.
It goes on for like 20 minutes, I think. It feels like 20 minutes. It's probably less than that. The whole movie, it just goes on too long. Even the ending, the third act, it's too long. He just doesn't know how to rein himself in, I think.
It's definitely bloated. As well.
Yeah. I mean, the action scenes, they're definitely better, but the other cut where they wanted to make it 2 hours, they're like, all right, cut these action scenes down. But it removes the like dramatic like resonance of the scene. If it's just like a 2-minute fucking battle and then, he runs away.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my favorite piece of action or kind of set piece in the movie is the whole reviving Superman thing. I like the heroes having to work together, without the mustache twirling villain directly being involved. It's just
mustache twirling. That's funny because
I mean, that's another talking point with this movie is the Steppenwolf and the differences. He's been changed visually quite a lot. He still looks pretty silly to me.
He's shiny,
spiky now.
It is an improvement. Yeah, he's covered. He's covered in spikes and looks like a Bionicle. But yeah, and now he has something instead of nothing.
Isn't that a low bar to set? He has something.
Oh, it's totally a low bar. Yeah, I'm not on the standpoint of like loving this movie. I'm like right down the middle. I find it fascinating. There are things I enjoy about it, but as a whole, it's not on par with anything, any of its contemporaries to me.
I made Star Wars comparisons with Steppenwolf because he's a lot like Darth Vader because he has like the guy who he talks to on the hologram or whatever.
Yeah,
Dark Side.
He's like the underling.
It's like that. Yeah, he's the underling exactly. And then there's even like, Steppenwolf has like 2 guys next to him. Oh no, Dark Side I think has 2 guys next to him. And it's like 2 guys who look like the Emperor from Star Wars. It's like a guy in a hood. And then the other guy looks like Palpatine. It's like this like gray hair human.
Well, yeah, these movies are filled with so many like DC lore references and stuff. I'm sure
that
of
too.
People that just enjoy it on that note alone, If you're already into DC, of course you're going to love it.
Well, all the Aquaman stuff. But like that stuff's pointless. Willem Dafoe like is in there. He doesn't do anything.
I mean, he's there because he's in the Aquaman movies, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But he doesn't serve I don't know. Didn't need to be there.
I mean, in the Aquaman movie, they talk to each other underwater, right? I don't know why they had to make air bubbles in this film, which is really weird because, like, the Justice League, if this was, like, a part of the original cut especially, I don't know. But, like, this was part of the original plan, I think. I have no idea when this shit was filmed. But, like, Justice League and Aquaman didn't come out too far away from each other, right? Aquaman was after. And there seemed to be, like, zero communication between James Wan and Zack Snyder. So, like, James Wan was like, oh, yeah, I'll just film them talking to each other underwater. And Zack Snyder was like, I don't know how to do that. They're going to make air bubbles every time, like, in the middle of a fucking fight. Like, fucking Amber Heard's got her, like, throat grabbed by Steppenwolf or whatever. She's like, air bubble, just to say something. She's like, you'll never get away with it, or whatever she said. It's so cheesy and stupid. It's weird that they have to do that. Yeah. And so, like, the fighting and the talking scenes are, like, entirely separated in that sequence, and it's so weird. She tries to say something in the middle of a fight. There's a lot of issues that come with the Flash existing in the movie, in my opinion.
His dad is funny.
His dialogue fucking sucks, first of all. I hate that.
Yeah, I
hate everything that they tried to do with him. But then, like, just on a logical level, like, he's way too overpowered for the universe for there to be any conflict, really. A lot of it doesn't make any sense, and so they nerf him intentionally so that there's, like, drama in the film. There's the part where the rubble's falling. There's like 3 big stones or whatever about to fall on some guy. He's like, like immediately. And then the last one falls and he says, no. And then Cyborg gets it. It's like, what? Like, you wouldn't have gotten it, Flash? Like, you could have just walked there and you would have gotten it before it fell. Like, don't tell, in the time you could have said the words no. In the time you could have said the words no, you could have just, like, instead of doing that, you could have just saved it like you did the other ones. Why did that final one? Why weren't you able to save the person on that one? There's no reason. And then it's like, okay, so he's running around in a circle at the end, and then, like, the best fucking bug turret operator ever to exist in the entirety of the universe manages to snipe him while he's running so fast that he's, like, turning time back. Manages to, like, actually hit him.
Yes, he can reverse time. That's pretty overpowered.
Yeah, like at least for reversing time, there's an implication like he can't just do it infinitely forever. Like he'll just get tired or something. Like it looks like he's putting an effort in and it goes back very slowly. Okay, so at least it seems like there's a limitation of some sort, some excuse for him not to do it all the time.
It's supposed to be like he runs so fast that he just messes up time. I think that's
like Superman would do in whichever movie, right? So it doesn't make sense if you try to think about it. Whatever. But, like, he gets shot by, the dude on the turret as that's happening. And yet, in the other scene, where, like, Wonder Woman almost loses her sword, she's, like, trying to grab it, and then he just shows up and he's like, ding, with his finger, like, on the blade of the sword. So it's like, wait a minute. Like, are you allowed to get hurt by things while you're fast? Because... why wasn't the bullet that you got shot by or the explosion that you got, like, I don't know what it is that the turret was shooting at him, whatever projectile. Why didn't that react the same way that the sword that was flying at you reacted? You literally touched it with your bare finger and you didn't even get a cut, right? So if while you're going fast, the objects that are moving slow to you don't actually provide any force because they are slow to your perspective, like that sword, then how are you able to get shot with that projectile? It's just whichever the script wants at the moment, you know? Why didn't the projectile, why didn't he just touch it with his finger like he did with his sword?
I mean, you're right, yeah. There's like a million things like that. It doesn't make sense.
It's really annoying.
But it's such a Snyder thing to be way more interested in the visuals and the kind of... he really, like, romanticizes the idea of the superheroes and treats them like gods. But they're kind of distant characters as a result. And the ones that... kind of have a bit more humanity needed their own movies, because I mean Cyborg's arc and Flash's story could have been told in their own movies basically, and should have been really, because it makes it so messy.
Yeah, they have no setup at all.
Yeah,
exactly.
And why did Cyborg have like extra arms? I don't remember that in the original one.
It looks
really
weird,
strange. Yeah, a really strange creative decision.
I also don't like how he shot a missile at Superman for no reason, and he said, "It's my auto defense system," because Superman was looking angry or something. So it's like, now we have to ask ourselves, like, okay, was Superman evil before the missile, or was the missile an excuse to make Superman go evil for a second?
Yeah.
See, that's something that should have been set up, yeah.
Either Cyborg's missile defense system is like the worst thing his dad could have installed for him. Like, he can't even control it. He can control the banking institutions, but he can't control his arm, right? Like, it's like, what, he just gave him an angry face? He's like too powerful, like a strong dude looked angry at him, and so he got to shoot a missile at him? Like, okay, that fucking sucks. Your dad hates you, I guess. I don't know, either that or like Superman actually was evil at that moment, and his arm was super smart in detecting that Superman was going to kill him or something. But that means that Superman's default setting is evil. That means, like, when he doesn't know who he is, he's like, oh, I've got amnesia. He's not like Jason Bourne, you know? Like who am I? It's literally just like, I hate everybody. Like, I don't remember being raised by a good family, so I'm mad.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was just an excuse. That's just like the...
gotta have a fight.
Amnesia beat, you know, so they can have a fight, yeah.
It's very silly.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm glad that fight's in the movie, though. It's one of the more interesting parts to me. One of the more memorable scenes.
When she yells, Kal-El, no?
Yeah,
I saw the
see
comparisons on it. That's very, very interesting.
Oh, I didn't see that. Is there a difference?
No, yeah, somebody posted... yeah, they used a different voiceover take. Like, they probably did ADR for the new version. I mean, probably for both of them, but... in Justice League, the Joss Sweden cut,
Justice League. Okay, I like that.
Basically, the take sounds like she's talking to like a baby. Kal-El, no. Like, I don't even know how I could like recreate it. And then in the newer version, it sounds like
awful.
It sounds like it's coming from like a more empathetic, matured perspective, I guess. I still haven't seen the original. So.
Yeah, it is better. Do you think you're ever going to watch it?
Yes.
You're just going to leave it?
No, I will watch it. And then that will be another unique experience because no one else can.
Yeah, you've done it the other way around.
So the original Justice League is making people appreciate the improvements for Zack Snyder's version, so I'll be able to truly appreciate the glorious clusterfuck of Joss Whedon's version. I think I did it the right way.
Yeah.
I think I'll enjoy it more. I think I'm going to have more fun with it.
I think you'll find it fascinating.
It's going to be
You'll
shorter.
have an interesting 2 hours. Yes. I don't think it's even 2 hours. It's like
It's like 2 hours on the dot.
Including credits, though.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. That's what it says on IMDb. It's just 2H.
It's just 2 hours. That was their only, like, make it 2 hours. That's it.
Yeah.
I would say, I don't know. This one's clearly better, but the fact that it's 4 hours long makes me want to watch the other one just because it's shorter. Like, I would prefer that one just because it's 2 hours shorter than this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the length is, like, ridiculous.
It is.
It's 3 hours, 50 minutes.
I'd always prefer this one over that
guess.
original. Unless it's for, like, humor or... Yeah.
Because it is better, yeah. I'm not going to deny that. Well, but, I mean, it's we're fucking comparing hairs. It's like, they're both
both bad.
They're both fucking, yeah. They have a lot of really dull moments.
What is it about Snyder that has built this particular fan base then?
I have no idea.
Because he's really got a certain style that people really connect to. Like, people really connect to this.
I think some people like the violence, like the dark edge. You know, this one's much more violent.
I've noticed conservatives really love Zack Snyder.
Well, like,
I don't know why.
Was this Armand White? I wonder what Armand White thought of this.
Ben Shapiro loved the new Justice League.
Oh yeah, I saw a review on YouTube. It said Ben Shapiro Justice League review. I was like, holy fuck! Now he's moving into film reviews because
he's making a media empire. He's doing a lot right now.
Yeah, I know. I saw him there, but it's like he thinks that's like some kind of like right. Maybe it is. I don't know. Like that appeals to that kind of like the right crowd, but I don't know. It's like it's a stupid superhero movie.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was just weird. That was so bizarre to see that.
They're like not as woke as Marvel. I don't know.
Like I didn't watch it. It was on my feed though. I saw the thumbnail.
Does anybody think Batman's a little too pudgy? I think Batman's too pudgy. He's more of a dad man than Batman.
Depends on what scene it is and what cut you're watching.
Yeah, Ralph's right. It depends on the scene.
Yeah. At the end of this film, like during the reshoots, he was like skinnier. I thought he looked okay. But like then there's some shots, you know, where he's like pudgy. Some shots where he's like kind of built. He looks all right. Some shots where he looks kind of out of it, like he's tired or something.
I don't think Ben Affleck works as a Batman.
No, I don't think so either. I thought the casting was very poor of everybody.
Well, I was kind of into his look in BVS, personally. I thought he was all right in BVS in terms of the brooding like physicality of it, and it kind of suits Snyder's darkness more because it was like a jaded Batman. But
that is that that I don't know. That's more to do with like how the character is written than casting Ben Affleck, right?
No, but I mean just the visual way he presented Batman in that movie. It is different to Justice League because he's in the Rogues Gallery. Batman's kind of the odd one out. He's not a god. It's an ongoing joke that he's rich. I don't like that joke at all in the movie, but yeah, Batman kind of has so much less to do, and they added in this whole sequence with him in the like his car driving around shooting rockets and stuff and he's got like his spider tank because they've got to power him up to be at least somewhat comparable with the threats that are around him because they're so ridiculously overpowered and they are all gods. But yeah, I don't know. Batman in this movie, he does stand out a bit more, and in that original cut particularly, he was absolutely bizarre and stood out because the color grading was obviously different. The color grading it's visually consistent, at least in this version. In the original, it was just jumped around like crazy.
He doesn't do anything. He's useless.
Yeah, he doesn't. He assembles the team.
Yeah, remember he has like this, I don't know, it's kind of like a military jet. He like drops them off. Like that's all he could do. He fucking drops everyone off.
Yeah. I got the dough.
He picks the Flash up in a car. He's like, okay, let's go. And he drives his car away. Like that's all he could do. He has like a nice car. They could drive.
When the characters have no history, just the beats don't hit, you know, where they could.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if they'd spent the time and then really did have like a properly established Batman-Superman relationship, so then years down the line you have conflict between them, that's interesting. That's like what you want to see. But again, it's just rushed over, and the crazy action explosions are kind of the priority in the the Jesus imagery and stuff.
Yeah. I like how when they bring back Superman, he's like, yeah, they brought me back for a reason. I gotta find out. Like, there's zero chance in his mind that they would have brought him back to life for any sentimental reasons. Like, they don't like me. Like, they want something. Just fucking dicking around for a while.
Superman doesn't show up till like halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah, if not longer.
He's a really boring character. Him and Batman. I couldn't imagine watching Batman v Superman.
Oh, it's so much worse.
Yeah.
I think it's
Jesse Eisenberg seems
the worst of the three.
Funny bad. Like, more cringe. He seems on par with Jared Leto, honestly. There's some good villains in the DCU.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
I'm really not feeling the movie. It wasn't good. Everything, it just seems like a bad idea. The whole thing seems like a bad idea. The Flash is stupid. Cyborg is stupid. He gave a woman an ATM lottery prize that doesn't exist, and she's gonna get fucked by the IRS like in a week. So
the highlight of the film for some people was the Flash scene where he rescues the woman on the street.
Aren't his clothes supposed to disintegrate?
I don't know.
That's why he wears the suit.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Maybe.
on that one.
And then he puts a wiener in his pocket.
Yeah, all the wieners flying around. That scene was okay, but it's been done better in X-Men movies.
Mm-hmm.
And also Spider-Man 2. I don't fucking know. Or like, just seems like one of those
Well,
scenes.
like a direct comparison, any movie with a guy, in slow motion running around.
Speed.
Yeah, Quicksilver in Days of Future Past and Apocalypse even. Those scenes, they're in my review. I'll show this side by side. I mean, I guess it's fine though. Like, I don't like all the lightning and shit around the Flash.
See, I like that scene. I think it's a good way to establish that character.
It's one of the better scenes.
I think the casting is a real problem for that one. It's not the right tone. Maybe it's the dialogue more than the casting.
Oh man,
the jokes are really
I don't know
lame.
what it is. But the other scene in the Justice League, that scene is completely removed in the original cut, and it's replaced by some dumb scene where he, like, I don't know, he goes to like the jail, I think, and he fills out a form. Like, that was it. Like, it sucked. The scene, it was so pointless. And like, he draws like a dumb face on a guy with like marker.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So this was better, definitely.
Oh yeah, God, I'd forgotten about that entirely.
Yeah, it's because it's.
And the action scenes at the end
sucks.
where he's like racing Superman and stuff like that, that's not in this version.
Oh yeah,
that sounds fun.
There's no post-credit scenes or anything like that. Like, they didn't do any of that crap.
They didn't do post credits. They just did like the most long and drawn out dream sequence at the end of the movie for no reason.
Yeah, they did a bunch of endings. Well, like, there's the scene with Lex Luthor. That scene is a post-credit scene in the Joss Whedon version.
Okay.
So like, Jesse Eisenberg's like on a boat, right? And then he's visited by Deathstroke. I think that's because there's a bunch of dead guys. Whatever. Deadpool. Who's the guy Will Smith is?
Deadshot?
Deadshot. Yeah.
Hancock.
and this is Deathstroke.
Yeah, he's like a Batman villain.
Yeah. So they're setting him up for a future movie, but it's like, okay, that's not going to happen.
And it's also stupid because you've just shown off the biggest threat in the universe, then you're de-escalating to this little guy with a sword. It's a strange way to do it.
Yeah, Lex Luthor.
Oh no, he's like really cringe, and that's how he's gonna kill them. They're gonna die.
Because of course,
cringe.
it's not even a complete story really, because it has so much setup in it, which was clearly shot with them planning this. Was it going to be a trilogy or just 2 parts? I can't remember what their extensive plan was, but it was obviously all abandoned. And it is one of the worst things about it, beyond the obvious like dialogue and the breadth and everything. But I'm glad I watched it, to be honest. I don't have the just pushback against it for some reason. I'm okay with this existing. I'm glad it exists. I love that this project came together and we're able to talk about it, but I'm not really connected to it beyond the kind of meta story of it all. And the fun really is in the comparisons for me.
Yeah.
I just find studio fuck-ups on this scale to be just utterly fascinating to me.
True. Even if this wasn't compared to anything else, this would still be a fascinating movie. If all of a sudden Warner Brothers was just like, let's just let Zack Snyder do whatever he wants. And there was no reason for it. Sure. That would be equally fascinating to me.
And the way the pandemic kind of affects
True.
the fact that it came together, it probably never would have, been made if not for the fact that we've been flung into these ridiculous circumstances.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any chance of them continuing it? Because it
don't think
has
he
had a
wants to.
surprisingly positive. Yeah, true. Yeah, that might be the challenging thing. But what if they proposed something for HBO Max or whatever? Because I don't know.
I don't know.
I can see them doing that. Like, if you look at what like Netflix spends on their original programming, for example, it's obscene. They're like always spending way more than they make. But that's the way.
Like how much?
Oh, like hundreds of millions for these shows. Like I've been watching The Crown recently, and the cast and the budgets are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I think the funding, like the business model is a little bit different with the streaming content compared to the way the budgets of the theatrical movies come together. I could be wrong on that, but
Superhero movies are still really expensive, though. They would still be more expensive because this is like, I don't know. This is 4 hours compared to like a miniseries of being like 10 hours, right? And then on top of that, this is like they were able to justify this by spending $70 million on top of a movie that was already made. So their like expense of doing the whole 4 hour thing was 70 million, not the 70 plus how much? 100, 200 million? Like what was the budget of the original Justice League? I don't know.
250,
yeah,
300, wasn't it?
Yeah, like 300 million. Yeah. So I don't know. To spend like 300 to 400 million on a 4 hour movie doesn't seem economically feasible, especially for HBO Max right now. They're not making as much as Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they didn't need to spend that much money to make this project come together.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a logistical fuck up on a scale.
I guess so.
Like, just imagining the money burning is sad, but...
Yeah, but it's just a big property. Like, there's going to be a ton of money spent just to make it,
Yeah, and I think it's about the subscription numbers.
There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a movie usually costs, like those Avengers movies are usually $300 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually a lot more money than $100 million. But they can make it work. I mean, who the fuck knows?
If they replace fucking what's his face as the Flash,
Ezra Miller,
Ezra, if they replace him with Nathan Fielder, the whole movie is so much better. I'm like my roommate gave me that idea, and about halfway through the movie, because I was just mad watching The Flash. Like, I was actually upset. But after that moment, I just imagined Nathan Fielder instead. Like, every single line was like, it's funny now. Like, now it works. Next time you watch The Flash, next time you watch Justice League, just imagine it's Nathan Fielder instead of Ezra Miller. And it's a better movie. It's a life hack. Hacked it. Hacked the financial institutions.
Yeah, I suppose the most likely way it's going to be wrapped up is in a comic or something.
I guess.
But I'm just thinking from the kind of business perspective, when it has had a big reaction. They kind of owned the internet for a little bit, and it's still rippling on now. But we don't know on the back end just how much that's equating to numbers going up on a graph.
I'm assuming they see a blip. HBO Max. I'm assuming they see a subscriber up from Justice League.
Yeah.
Why not? It's like a part of a broader conversation. This is what I don't understand. It's like, apparently everybody in the world saw the original Justice League and it still just didn't make money. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm the only person that didn't, but apparently it was just not a financial success. Somehow everybody's seen it and it didn't make money. Okay.
It didn't live up to their expectations either.
Everybody needed to see it twice.
That's right, because they always have obscene expectations too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, what were they expecting on a $300 million movie? Like, they'd have to do...
billion.
Like, Marvel Avengers numbers.
Yeah, which is what they wanted, of course.
They just couldn't read a room.
Yeah.
No.
It's baffling.
Yeah.
The fight scenes were just way too comical at the end. Because, like, every single time Wonder Woman showed up on screen, every single fucking time. And it was just like a punchline. It was just so funny and bad.
Yeah,
I
that was a
couldn't.
strange decision. Because they already
A lot
established
of
kind of
CGI.
the original Wonder Woman theme's kind of funny when they first put that into BVS to me, and now they've kind of taken it to the next level. Yeah, with all the chanting.
Well, what'd you think of the movie? Is a 10 out of 10?
Oh, like ratings?
Yeah, rating this is tough for me. I'm torn between a 2-star or a 2.5 star. Honestly, I fully can't decide yet. Because of the interesting part of this movie, the enjoyment I get from it is not from the movie itself, really. It's kind of the whole story around it, which is a unique... Like, how do you rate it based on that? I might have to sit on it a bit more, but that's kind of what my gut's telling me right now. It's got some stuff. If you're a real fan of some of these characters, there will be moments you'll enjoy and appreciate, and there's some good stuff here and there. But it's 4 hours long. There's so much stuff that doesn't need to be in there. There's so many bad scenes. There's so much bad dialogue. So much awful stuff in there. I don't know who I'd really recommend this to. You know, the people who love it already know they love it. You know, and they've already found it. So
They wanted to love it. Well, I'm not going to rate it now, but it would be... I agree with a lot of what you said. Yeah. Save a rating for the future. I rate Jared Leto's scene 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Like, that was great.
Yeah,
it was
same.
really funny. Really, yes, great acting. Yeah.
Went on for a long time. It's a long movie. I saw it in 2 sittings. It was like a Affinity War and then Endgame.
Yeah, I had to take a break.
Yeah. I don't know how many people watched it 4 hours in a row. Who knows? Yeah, fucking removed the CG mustache correction for Superman, and then they gave a CG mustache to the Flash at the end. So that's cool. 3 out of 10.
Oh yeah, I really didn't understand that. Was that a different actor? Like, it didn't even really look like
He just probably didn't grow a mustache because he needed to be not mustached for another role, and they forgot that prop and makeup exists, so they just did CG.
Every now and again, I go and just look up screenshots from the original Justice League, like mustache stuff, close-ups.
It
of
seems like
Henry
so much
Cavill's
fun. I
face.
really want to
yeah.
watch it.
It's the memes that came
hilarious.
from it, making fun of it, are really funny.
Yeah, that was like the DC universe's that was like Stonewall. You know, they had to fight back.
Those shots are completely pointless, too. Like, they don't add anything. It's just a bunch of dumb jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and trying to like desperately reel Superman back to being what Joss Whedon wanted him to be.
Necessary reshoots. Done with this shit. We had a recommendation from Alex, a British man.
Wait, did you give a rating, Adam?
I said 3.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Out of 5?
Out of 5.
Yeah.
6 out of 10.
3
All right.
out of 10. We all watched 2 movies that Alex recommended. Take it away. Spoiler discussion.
Yeah, so spoilers for Paddington 1 and 2. This is my recommendation. Paul King's movies based on the famous children's book. And honestly, I somehow miss these movies despite them being Paddington's such a British icon. I always looked away from these movies for 2 main reasons. One, I didn't read the Paddington books or really had any connection with him as a child, so I didn't care about that. And secondly, just seeing like the odd screenshot or like the trailer in cinemas and stuff, I just assumed it was going to be one of those kind of based on children's books or cartoon characters like Woody Woodpecker type shit films, but
Hop, something like that.
Yeah, like Hop tier, but
Yeah.
I was kind of blown away by the approach of these 2 movies. They're very simple. They're obviously aimed for children, and it's just about a bear from Peru who comes over to London, Paddington, and has kind of Mr. Bean antics and adventures, and it's all very whimsical and like a children's storybook brought to life. I really enjoyed these 2 movies, so I guess we can start with the first movie, Paddington, before we move into 2, which is more about, it's his origin story, effectively, with him coming over and his the Pixar kind of opening with the uncle dying and it forcing the story over, and it's him learning to appreciate what home is and family themes and everything, you know. And obviously the main focus is on the kind of the storybook comedy of it, and I think they're very well written. They're very charming. I was laughing out loud at points in both of them. There are some real great gags we can get into, but I was really pleasantly surprised by Paddington and how much heart it has, and just how much thought they put into all the reincorporation and just the writing and the wittiness of it. There is so much just purity to it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like these movies. I like both these movies. They're very charming. I'd seen the first one when it came out in the theater.
Oh.
So, yeah. I don't know. I was like, oh, yeah, this looks good. So I actually had a fun experience watching it there. The audience enjoyed it. It was clearly like, yeah, it's a funny movie. Paddington's a goof. I looked up if he came out before Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh came out way before. It was like the 1920s. Mm-hmm. It's like I noticed the comparisons with like the marmalade and the honey.
Suspicious.
So I don't know. It's like a British knockoff of like, yeah, but it's really well made. Like,
yeah, you got revenge with The Office.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Wes Anderson comparisons. I think with both movies, like in terms of like how they're shot.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what they were going for. But I don't know. It didn't even really bother me necessarily. At least it wasn't just shit. Like it wasn't like a bunch of dumb jokes and like references. I think they'll age well, like because they work on their own. They're very British too.
Sorry, I've got to address the Winnie the Pooh thing. Winnie the Pooh is British, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
it's a Disney thing.
Yeah, I think it was the original books are British.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. You got both.
I thought it was like Canadian.
British Canadian?
You'll learn it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everybody. Yeah. But Paddington's like the really British version of him.
What country invented Winnie the Pooh?
Well, A.A. Milne is English.
Oh yeah, here's why. Okay. He was renamed after an American black bear in London Zoo called Winnie, who got her name from the fact that her owner had come from Winnipeg, Canada. That's why. Because there are these weird like PSAs that exist on Canadian television. They were like a part of our heritage, right? And so it would be like, well, did you know that this happened in Canadian history? Or this like tiny little skit that would be showed on television during commercial breaks or whatever. And one of them was like this little kid in like a zoo. He's like, hey, I want to call it Pooh Bear. And then it was like, oh, okay. And that's how they got the name Winnie the Pooh. And I was like, oh, so that's why I thought it was like maybe Canadian, because it was like, yeah, Winnipeg.
That's funny.
Okay. So it's like, it's related. It's related. I put it in English author.
There you go. At least I wanted to bring up Winnie the Pooh. Anyway, it's definitely what I saw.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Doesn't take itself too seriously, very self-aware, very creative with how it presents scenes and sequences. I don't know how much detail there was in the book, so I don't know how much was directly lifted from that in terms of style or set pieces or anything like that. How much of it was just the director. But either way, it's just nice that like something that does present itself in kind of a non-serious but creative way is able to get funding. And obviously there's a budget and there's name actors, big CG bear and all that. And it didn't seem like there was this common mistake of a studio turning a property like this into just an absolute dog shit piece of movie. I think that part of what really saved the experience for me also is I was imagining if they decided to have Paddington's voice actor be a child instead, because the age is a bit ambiguous. Like he's like a young bear, but he has an adult voice actor, and I think that kind of really helps for me, because I would be annoyed the entire time if it was a dumb child voice, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if you feel that way.
No, I totally agree with you. I think the decision to have the way they incorporate kids in the movie is having them be more side characters. That they are still somewhat important and they have their own little mini beats and payoffs. But I think that way of doing it is much better. And just the way the film, they build on themselves. Like in Paddington 2, there's a bunch of payoffs from the first movie. It's all very, very creative, as you said, and so much work was put into the presentation of it. I mean, I was very, very blown away by the visual effects work for Paddington in particular, because I'd seen very little from this movie, and just the grounded way they decided to film the way Paddington interacts with the environment. He's often holding or interacting with real things in the environment, so it really grounds him. And I thought it worked very well.
Yeah.
Especially when it came to like the Mr. Bean fish out of water action sequences and silly moments like that. It worked really well I was really impressed with the visual effects in particular.
Yeah. The look of Paddington's awesome.
Yeah. And just
Looks
how
really
they
good.
organized the scenes and set pieces and, kept the visual effects in mind. Like there's the shot where like the tub is like going down the stairs or whatever, and then it cuts to the expression of the family members at the table going, and they all give stupid faces as the tub enters the kitchen. Yeah. But you see it from Paddington's perspective, and you see a real tub that they just dollied forward. You didn't even need to have CG there. It was just, you just saw the CG bear, so you imagine it's behind it. It's just, it flows well. It's well put together from a filmmaking perspective.
And the Britishness of it can't be understated. It's obviously, Paddington is quintessential kind of polite British guy. It's very charming because he's got his quirks, like the recurring joke of the hard stare when someone's rude to him, and he's all about politeness and what's prim and proper, but the humor comes from the fact that he's a bear and the absurdity of a bear just existing in a human world is funny for everyone. It's very charming.
It seemed everybody just treats it like a normal Wednesday. They're like, there's some bears, whatever. I think the hard stare is probably my favorite moment from both films. I'm glad they did it in both of them.
I was so glad it came back in the second one, because that is a great gag.
It was like slightly meaner looking.
My favorite gag in the first movie was relating to the villain character, who was kind of a cliche kids movie villain type, like archetype, where they're like the animal hunter type, where she's all about mounting heads on the walls. But in the scene where it shows all the mounted heads, and then it shows the other side of the wall, and all of the bodies are on like the other side of the wall. I thought that was such a funny joke. Purely visual. They don't linger on it or ruin the like humor of it. They know what to focus on and what to build on. And as I said, I really like the reincorporation of the way silly jokes, like the one in my head right now is actually from Paddington 2, but where just throwaway gags like Paddington shaving someone's hair by accident comes back later. It builds on the story, and I like that kind of writing. It makes everything feel conclusive and come together at the end really satisfyingly. And I also like the effort just to give every character their own little bit of personality, their own quirks. The dad character's funny in the first movie, being like a risk assessor, and his little arc going out of his comfort zone is cute. And they're all given just enough. It's just so expertly crafted.
It's funny.
It's genuinely funny, yeah.
Yeah. I'll agree with you that the marketing didn't do a great job, for me anyway. Like, I guess it made money, got a sequel, so maybe they marketed it correctly.
Yeah, that's probably why I avoided it.
In the US, I didn't expect it to be that successful.
Yeah, because I did see a trailer for it way back when, and I was like...
Because it's a CGI bear, yeah. And I guess it could have done better if it was like, what I was picturing, like the dumb kind of, like the Illumination version of this. Where he's like, he's like, doing like, it's stupid, like fucking dumb gags, or like he references some meme, like some bullshit like that. Yeah, he dab, like nonsense like that. He has a vape pen. I don't know, whatever they do.
Vape pen.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
But here, he's like, completely innocent. None of the humor will age poorly. None of it will be dated, probably. Because it's like silly, fun gags that are... It's very innocent, like the tub.
Yeah, super
and all
innocent.
that. Yeah, exactly. And they're well done. It's a very sleek movie. It's very well made. You can't take away from like how well made it is. So yeah, I can see why people like connect to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, another reason I'd avoided it too, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be one of those come to London, movies, in the style of like, those Adam Sandler movies where they go to like casinos and they're like trying to encourage you to go somewhere for like a tourism thing. But it doesn't feel like that. It's way more pure, and it's trying to get to the heart of what London's all about. And they get it a lot better in the second movie. I do think the first movie is actually significantly weaker than the second one to me, but I still did really enjoy it.
I think both are about London or like the UK. Definitely like that culture. That's a huge part of what I thought they were about. Yeah. And Paddington's like...
And it has basically every English character actor working.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. I recognized a lot of people in it.
Yeah. You got... God, Peter Capaldi's a major character in the first movie. He's kind of like a side villain. Weird hearing him not do a Scottish accent, but he's funny.
And Julie Walters is in it. Ron Weasley's mom. Apparently.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's Sally Hawkins, of course. I knew her.
Yeah, I didn't know she was in it before watching it. Same with Nicole Kidman.
I didn't realize Ben Whishaw was Paddington either. Like he's in
great casting. I think his voice is perfect for Paddington, because it was
great.
Originally going to be Hugh Grant, wasn't it? When I just can't picture it.
And Hugh Grant's the villain in the second one.
Yeah, I think he actually declined it. He said he wasn't right for it himself, I think, which is quite good. Because when he came back in 2, it's like, we'll talk about that in a bit. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that they actually kind of got me with a gross out moment with the licking the earwax thing. I didn't think they would go that far. It seemed like a bit much.
No, that was it was like viscerally disgusting.
Like, this is actually really gross. You got me. I was kind of impressed.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I love the cartoony nature of the villain. I think that it's like just teetering over the top enough that it's like so clearly self-aware. Rather than just being stereotypical child movie villain. It's like, okay, this is kind of a joke. This is kind of, for laughs. So
yeah.
And it's the kind of humor that works for both kids and adults. I'd say there are more jokes for adults in the second one, but there's plenty here too. And just the Mr. Beanish nature of him just bumbling around and like getting into antics because he's a bear in like a human environment. It is just funny.
I also thought that the guards reading the Oreo nutritional information was kind of funny. In such a way that if it were a product placement, which it probably was, I'm not even mad at it. Because it's like, it's kind of funny, It's like used in the scene, and it's not just, it's not just a distracting product placement. It's like, oh, okay, this is kind of funny.
One of the other reasons I'd avoided this movie before was because the director, Paul King, he directed this like sitcom, this awful sitcom that was quite big in the UK called Come Fly With Me. And it's actually been taken off like BBC iPlayer and stuff because it's so like crass and just, not funny. So I always associated him with that project, so I always avoided it. But this really has spun me round on him and what he's capable of.
What are your biggest criticisms with the first movie?
I think the plot is simple to a degree where it leans to kids so far that as an adult there were points where I was like, yeah, that's definitely a gag for kids, like lots of slapstick humor. Some works better than others.
Yeah.
It is just extremely simple to me.
Yeah, exactly. It just it didn't like blow me away. Exactly. I don't have like any criticisms with it.
Yeah, I really feel like these movies are quintessential kids movies. Like if I had kids, I would definitely show them these movies. I think they're great kids movies, like just in line with your Toy Stories or whatever. I think this joins the pantheon.
But even for kids, like it's not like I don't know, it's about adults a lot. Like there's not a lot of, I guess they have like the kids in the family, but you have the Paddington Bear, and especially in the second movie, it's focused on all these adult characters like Nicole Kidman and like, all the villains and the parents and the neighbors and all them. I don't know. I like E.T. because it's all just like about, like I'm young, I want to watch like kids go on an adventure where like they find some alien or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like that.
I don't know. The bear's the
But
central
I
character.
guess this is
I think
very
that might be
British.
enough
Yeah,
for-
that's what gives it a unique feel. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like anything. If they'd given like, I don't know, the son and the daughter more character, like even in The Incredibles, like I really like Dash and Violet. I don't know. There's nothing about them that really stood out.
I'm happy with the amount of character they gave the kids in this because
Yeah.
they weren't
Yeah.
bad actors. They were suitable for what they needed to do, which is great for a kids movie
Mhm.
having kids in them. Usually they're terrible. But yeah, I it kind of helped it feel a bit more unique because so many kids movies probably couldn't help themselves and would make it literally all about the kids and make it, have it be too much
Yeah,
of
exactly.
the story.
That's
right?
what gave it a uniqueness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe the moral of Paddington's like, I always compared him like to growing up, like becoming an adult, like trying to adjust to the adult world, like trying to do things that adults do, and like constantly fucking them up, like getting a job and he like cuts the guy's hair off, or like stuff like that. So maybe it's like the kid kind of imposes himself onto Paddington. That's like, I guess, the point of it. So I could just be talking out of my ass, but that's just something I felt like trying to find a criticism out of it. I'm like, yeah, for a kid, I could see a kid being bored because it's a bunch of adults. Like, okay.
Yeah, there might be like an age threshold.
Really, I think it's the humor.
Yeah, it just depends.
Yeah, I would say there is an age threshold with this, like an ideal one.
Yeah, maybe not 4 years old.
Yeah, I don't think I would watch. I could think super kids would enjoy this, but they couldn't like comprehend many of the things going on. There's definitely subtlety. There's too much subtlety in like I'm saying it's like too good. It's like too well made for like young kids. It's too interesting and like subtle.
There's like parts of this that are like surprisingly non-literal because he like walks
Yeah, it's
into
very
the
deep.
projector screen and it's like the memory. It's like okay, yeah, an adult understands what's going on because it's just a non-literal interpretation of him remembering and being like, oh yeah, I want to go back to Peru. I miss my relatives or whatever. But like a kid would just be like, why is he walking into the screen? Is it a portal? Like that's what a kid would think. Like the ability to understand like non-literal things in movies is a bit diminished the younger you are. So
I think kids would love this just because of the dedication to that fast-moving visual aspect of it. Like
Yeah,
every time there's some kind of exposition dump, they accompany it with some visual, like you said, like these 2D animations in the second movie or in the first movie. They have the kind of dream sequences that keep it visually interesting. And I think that's all kids are really after when they're watching the movies. So the fact they went the extra level and actually made the writing hold up and be funny and witty for adults, I think that's what makes this so special.
Yeah.
it's good art direction.
Yeah, really well shot.
Yeah, I would say that both movies, maybe the first movie a bit more, I'm not sure, but both movies kind of had parts where I was rolling my eyes, either at the humor or at, the plot devices or conveniences or anything like that. And it's like, yeah, it's a kid's movie, whatever.
Yeah, I could have done without the Mission Impossible gag. That was probably my least favorite.
That's some of the gags are a bit obvious.
Yeah, it just seems like a bit late to be throwing in Mission Impossible gags in like 2014.
This is my name in Bear, and then he tries to do. He's like, I am very offended. It's like that's every 4-year-old's attempt at writing humor. Like, come on, like that's way too obvious.
Yeah, that's definitely one for the kids.
But whatever. It's not the whole movie. There's so much more going on that I appreciate that I'm able to look past that a bit and be like, yeah, some parts don't work as well as others. That's just. There's plenty of things I love that fit that description. So
lots of good chase and action scenes in these movies. I was very impressed by the action.
Oh yeah, they're like exciting, thrilling movies. On top of being very emotional, it's like all kinds of like peaks and valleys of emotion. I don't know. The second movie I think had a bit better action. Like the train sequence, like at the end, reminded me like Indiana Jones or like Uncharted, like some kind of shit like that. I think that's probably the best done. That's the very end, though.
You gotta up the ante. I mean, they did have him like almost falling into like a pit of fire in this movie, so
Yeah.
Like that looked pretty dangerous.
In the second one, they just straight up show that woman like fall to her death.
Oh, which one?
In the second movie, in that flashback, there's the woman who like in the circus kind of scene. Like,
Oh,
falls down
yeah.
and dies.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, she doesn't. It's not like she was a splattered body or anything. They just said she
Oh
died.
yeah.
But still,
Mhm.
it's like horrific.
But I mean, like even in the first movie, it's like the villain cuts the guy loose while he's like handcuffed upside down and falls into the water. Like the implication is he died probably. Like maybe a kid wouldn't understand that, I guess. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know how he got out of that one. He wasn't shown later in the film being perfectly okay, so he probably died. I was actually surprised because like they could have had the villain die too, but they showed her hanging onto the ledge at the end. Either way would have worked. It is funny that the drunk grandma kind of saved the day, though. I liked her little contributions to the plot.
And the way he defeats him is that recurring gag with the pigeons,
Mhm.
which is another example of the
Yeah,
reincorporation I quite like.
yeah. That one, that reincorporation, I was like a little bit less surprised by. I think that there are
Yeah.
probably better examples of reincorporation in the second movie.
Yeah, I definitely noticed it more in the second
So
one.
yeah, I'm ready to talk about that whenever. Honestly.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered the first one. I mean, it is a very simple kids movie, but that's all it needed to be, and they've really put a lot of heart and soul and effort into making it the best it could be. I mean, I don't know what else you could really want from a Paddington movie. This is the way you adapt a kid's story into a movie. I think it's pretty much perfect for the kind of intent and what they were going for. I would give it a 7 out of 10 though, personally. I did have some emotional resonance from it, but not as much from the second. I much prefer that one. But what did you guys give the first one?
I feel about the same. It was funny. Yeah, it's charming. It definitely. I saw it in the theater. I didn't even know who Paddington was. So, like somehow it crossed that threshold where it's just it's like a charming little film. Little kids, I think they would prefer to watch Shrek. Or something. I don't know. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 as well. They just want like loud, dumb humor, you know, or at least that's what I wanted. Like I love hearing Smash Mouth, like fucking farting in like the pond, like. But yeah, this is fine. Very British.
Very British. Great art direction. I love the addresses in the sky above the buildings as he's like looking for M. Clyde. You know, they're written in his own writing. The taxi, and then it's taxidermist when you open the door. That was kind of funny visual gag. What really helps the movie is just it's very clearly self-aware. Like when they do the flashback and he's like, "We're removing your membership to the guild of explorers," and like every single character there is just so clearly over the top. It's like, "What's this special? Did he do the crossword?" Yeah, there's just a lot of great stuff in it. It doesn't treat you like you're stupid, and yeah, it's unpretentious.
Exactly.
It's great. It's fun. 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, because it gets tiring when they assume kids are really stupid, so they make their like minion bullshit. But like kids are smarter than you give them credit for. I think you can write movies like Paddington, and you'd be surprised by the things they'll pick up, and when they revisit and there's like Shakespeare references and stuff that maybe they'd like learn. It's really cute.
Minions movies made more money. I don't even have to look that up.
Yeah, I guess like chicken nuggets with legs are just more appealing.
Well, because they have like nothing to them.
Yeah.
Like this is about British culture and something. Like Minions is about nothing. Like there's no reason not to watch.
Paddington stands for something. He's got like a moral code.
There's nothing that turns someone off from it. Minions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Paddington is like ages 7 and up, and Minions is like 7 and below.
Yeah.
Or like 10 and below. I don't know. Depends on the kid.
I don't know. Plenty of adults that love Minions.
Oh, yeah, true. A lot of grandma. You know, I think it might just be like because if they put like a Minion sticker on their fridge or a Minion sign on their lawn, then their grandkids come over and they're happy. You know, it's like they give them candy and stuff. It's like, love me. I don't know. I don't know how much of it is genuine love for Minions. I have no idea. There might be a few. Anyway, Paddington 2. Paddington goes to prison.
Yeah, Paddington 2 came out in 2017, 3 years later. And yeah, the story is the MacGuffin was Hugh Grant's pop-up book with the silly codes and everything, but the real heart of the story is Paddington. His goals are established early in the movie. He wants to get a present for his auntie back in Peru, which is the pop-up book, and antics ensue. This time Hugh Grant's the villain. He's like a washed-up actor. There's it's like a funny kind of meta joke. He's got all his pictures of himself, and his downfall is his own ego. He's one of those kind of characters, and it's a very funny approach. Yeah, it kind of ramps up everything from Paddington 1 to me. It feels like an improvement in pretty much every way. I feel like the jokes are better. I feel like the reincorporation is a lot better. I think the story's better. I think it's way more ambitious. It does more things that I wasn't expecting. The whole prison sequence was wonderful. I absolutely adored that part of the movie.
It was a lot of
it. With the action scenes too.
It was like most of the movie was in prison. I had no idea I was going to do that.
Yeah, it was totally unexpected, like the way the story turned that way.
Yeah, like I was not expecting Brendan Gleeson's arc
he was fun.
Come into the movie. I was really pleased about that because he's like the antithesis to Paddington. Paddington's like an optimist, and he was the pessimist. So watching him come around was fun.
There were a billion cameos.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, just every English actor you can think of basically is somewhere in one of these movies.
In terms of like improving upon the original, I feel like Hugh Grant, his character being an actor, is probably like the only way they could have improved on the original, because like you want to keep the over-the-top nature, but you don't want to just do the same villain again. Right?
Yeah.
You don't want to just be like, I'm over the top because I'm a villain. It's like, oh, he's like eccentric and theatrical because he's just got a big ego and nobody cares about his dumb musical shit.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of different disguises.
Yeah.
He could do magic. He can disappear in a puff of smoke. Like, I guess he's like an entertainer.
He's like Hitman, isn't he? The way he's like putting on costumes and sneaking into places.
It was funny when he was like in the room of like all his different disguises and he was talking to them.
The master of disguise.
Yeah, that was a little... I'm like, man, this guy's a freak. But yeah, he was quite good at the
funny
movie.
Villain.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Yeah, it was a funny video. Yeah.
Yeah, the line, actors are the most devious people on the planet, made
Oh,
me
yeah.
laugh.
And all these actors saying it, and it's just kind of meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got some good chuckles out of me, the movie. The dog food commercial's funny, too. Like, I'm like,
disturbing.
Yeah, exactly. Like anti-humor almost. But yeah, it worked.
When that hairdresser scene started, because Paddington gets a job being a hairdresser, I was kind of expecting it more to be, one of the throwaway slapstick moments, but as I mentioned earlier, it ends with him messing up the haircut and it being a whole gag. And
that was like a Mr. Bean skit. That was totally like...
it literally was. There was a Mr. Bean hairdresser one where he like accidentally shaves off and tries to like put it back on.
But that's what it was going for, yeah. Very British.
Almost a little too similar, if you ask me.
Well, no, because they wanted to focus on that comedy beat, because it's very funny, yeah.
And it's so different, the absurdity of a bear, like he's like wrapped up in the wire, and the vocal performance with him going like, it's very comical.
The way they ended it with him licking the hairy marmalade off of that old man's bald spot, it hit the gross out quota at probably the same interval in the film as the first movie. I was this is like kind of the same beat. Like, I'm really grossed out right now. Okay, you did it again. Yeah,
like you said, it was an improvement. There's a lot of the same beats, but they're improved. Like, I like the villain way better this time. I thought Hugh Grant's like a much funnier villain. With the visually it's better, the action's better. A lot of ways, yeah. I love the whole prison bit, because I totally didn't see that coming. From like, I didn't expect Paddington to go to prison, and they kept it light even then.
There's a lot in this movie that they follow up on. Even the playing with the steam engine model train thing at the beginning is incorporated later. The train thing, right? He's operating a real train. Maybe I'm just not remembering. Did they ever do anything with the J-Dog thing? Like I'm going by J-Dog now. He just had a silly costume at one point when they're going to the carnival. Like, it looked like some Tim and Eric shit with the stupid glasses and t-shirt. But that was never really used for anything, was it?
Yeah, there's the he gets that really funny line at the end.
What was
he says,
it?
"I'm not J-Dog, and I love steam trains." Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a part of his like character realization. Okay, yeah.
The delivery of it is funny.
Yeah. I must have forgotten.
I really like that moment. I thought that was a funny line.
Okay, good. Yeah, there's some good lines in this. There's a grievous barbarly harm. I found funny when he was being read his sentencing.
Yeah, that was great.
The moment where Brendan Gleeson, literally this disturbing shot of like POV, you're in a prison and you were just woken up by a big large man that's like threatening, and he says, "Wakey, wakey, it's marmalade time." It's like, holy shit, this is supposed to be a play on like prison rape in this kid's movie, right? Like that's what they were going for, right? I don't know, because that's what it seemed like. It literally seemed like wakey, wakey, like
It definitely took the absurdity to the max, but that's what makes it work so well. Just the comical nature of him accidentally like dyeing all of the outfits pink, and them all being pissed at him, and then when he makes the marmalade and just wins them all over,
they're dancing.
It's just so childlike and funny. Yeah,
holding hands in a circle. I love that. These fucking pink.
And like at the end, when even there's payoffs like in the credit sequence with the Hugh Grant like doing his musical number and stuff with and making the prison look all
that was fun,
like nice with like flowers and stuff.
I think that the only jokes that did age, and they were in the first movie and in this film, were kind of just like the haha, it's a man dressed as a woman thing. It was like, I don't. It's just not even. I don't know. Yeah, is that really that funny? It's just like kind of boring.
Yeah, I felt it was weirder in the first movie.
It was definitely more of a focus.
Yeah.
There's some plot holes.
Yeah. I mean, they shouldn't have arrested him.
There were like logical things I noticed that they're like don't matter at all.
The whole plot of the movie, like he didn't have the property that he claimed he stole. They never recovered anything like that.
Exactly.
The person who owns the business didn't believe he did it, so it's like, I don't know. Can you really charge someone with theft if the person who was stolen from isn't even agreeing that
Yeah.
It's not like a murder charge.
His trial seemed very quick, and it was pretty unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gag was the judge just didn't like him.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, like, he shouldn't have even gotten to the judge.
Yeah, he might have had some rights,
property.
Who knows?
Anyway.
Also, like the opening, right? Which I do like, because it sets up him that he becomes like a window washer. Remember, he writes Paddington on the window of like the opening of the movie. But then he writes 2. I'm like, okay, so how does he know it's Paddington 2? Like, how does this character know that he's in Paddington 2?
But it was a backwards 2. For him, it wasn't a 2. It was just a Z or a, I don't know, like a. No, it's the same way, isn't it? He wasn't even. I don't know if he was trying to make a number. He was just drawing whatever interpretable thing. It was just a symbol that he was just wiping the window. But yeah, that is kind of funny that kind of gets reincorporated into his window washing thing, which I guess is the one moment where I would kind of have to disagree with, like, there are no, dumb kind of meme moments or anything. I don't know. The whole window washing with like his whole like butt and stuff was kind of like, it seems like it would belong in like one of those shitty movies,
It teetered for me, but again, I like the execution and the reincorporation at the end where he uses the ladder that he was washing with in the train action sequence.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Where did he get that? He brought it with him?
I guess so.
Don't you remember early on there's a scene where he has his briefcase and this ladder kind of extends out of it and he cleans the whole streets of London, and there's the guy with the dirty windows. I
didn't catch that. I remember there being a ladder that he used to window clean with. I didn't remember.
Yeah, it was like a special gizmo gadget ladder that like assembles.
No, I didn't catch the gizmo nature of it earlier on. Didn't realize that was also a reincorporation. I thought that was just some like random, circus ladder that he found on the circus train.
The reincorporation goes so deep. Even that coin in the ear.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Like, comes back. Yeah, it's so thoughtful. the way they assembled it. I think the structure's very good.
And I like how it's used for the phone call too. Like it's actually influencing the plot, and it's not a reincorporation that feels like super cheap, because by that point it had already been kind of reincorporated once already. So you're not expecting it to actually be used in a useful way, especially that much later in the film.
Yeah, and the ending. I love the ending. I think it's perfect for the story. It's not even a surprise that it's happening. It's just the perfect ending. It just needed to happen in the story, and just the execution of it. Man, it made the tears roll for me. I'm not gonna lie. Connects me.
Yeah, it had a good punch to it, and it ended right there. Like it was a great emotional...
Yeah, I was so glad it didn't linger. It's just like, that's the end. That's
it was a great emotional beat to end on. It was very cute.
Yeah, I think that the emotional beats were done better in this film. It felt more logical to get to those moments. You know, like, oh no, we missed the visiting hour sort of thing. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, like you're obviously preoccupied trying to get, you're trying to get him out of prison, and that would be a logical reason for him to be sad at that moment. They reincorporate the whole, like, in the first movie, he was just like out in the rain and, fetal position, and now he's like in the jail cell. It's like the same thing, the same beat, but it felt a bit more natural in this film.
Wasn't expecting to hear the words botty cheek either. Hearing Hugh Grant say that was quite strange. The buns joke.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a question for you. Is it actually called pocket picketing in Britain?
Pickpocketing.
Well, they said pocket picketing
Pickpockets.
in the first movie. Pickpocket is what makes sense, but in the first movie, they definitely said pocket picketing. And I was wondering if that was a British thing or if that was just a quirky
I haven't heard
thing.
that before, but the last time I was the official word on British things, I let down the side, so I don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah, it was like the kooky store owner who said it, so I don't know.
But yeah, it's funny, the vigilante side of Paddington made me laugh, where he's like accidentally taking down the pickpocket with his super hands from Peep Show. It's very funny.
Does he accidentally save the day in the second movie?
No, but he's a vigilante. He's like a sheriff on the dog chasing the the criminal.
The animation's better in the second movie too, I would say. Improvement in technology.
Yeah, it's 4K, incredibly crisp.
It looked really good.
There's a 4K Blu-ray?
The version I watched was 4K on iTunes. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it looked amazing.
Yeah, the fur is less patchy. There's more polygons. And also, like, the only moment out of both movies that I thought the CG looked kind of bad was in the first movie, when he was, like, being smuggled and gets off of the luggage cart near the train platform, and the way the bag looks, it's just like, it just looks so bad. Yeah,
I noticed just a couple of times. Yeah, largely the visual effects stuff is pretty impeccable to me. Just the execution of it and the dedication to really grounding the character and giving him a lot to work with. He, in a weird way, he's kind of like Indiana Jones when you boil him down to like Indy's like about his whip, and Paddington's. There's even an Indiana Jones reference in the first Paddington, because with his hat, and he's all about his marmalade, and it's all very simple.
Yeah,
and he's like pure and represents a goodness.
It is funny that they in both films kind of like, it's almost like propaganda how much they try to play up the nutritional value of marmalade. They're like, one marmalade sandwich has enough vitamins and nutrients for a bear for the whole day. And it's like, fucking big marmalade lobbyists in here. Like, I don't know.
They sneak in that line though, don't they?
Oh yeah, it's a bear, not a
only
kid.
For bears.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Still.
Do you guys enjoy a dash of marmalade now and again?
I had some.
I've never had marmalade
for the first time, like within
the
the past
year. You don't have
year.
marmalade?
I mean, anyone can make it. It's really easy to make, but I don't know how easy it is to buy if I were to buy it off the shelf or something. But my
like
aunt
honey?
sent me some. No, it's like you take fruit like oranges, just a bunch of orange juice. You cut up the oranges into like really small slices or whatever. A bit of water, a bunch of sugar, boil it, and it's like almost jam, but it's not. It's like, it's sweet, but it's also kind of tangy because you got the orange peels in there still, and you can eat the orange, like the whole parts of the orange peel and all in there once it's done and settled, because it's kind of like almost like a gelatin, like it's soaked in, like it's not difficult to.
It's like jelly.
Yeah, it's like a spread kind of. It's
Yeah, it
sweet
looks
and
good.
It's good.
One day, just for Paddington, I'll
Would
try it.
recommend. It's really easy to make.
Sure.
So.
Sure.
Yeah, they can be delicious. Lots of good family recipes.
Mm-hmm.
And marmalade.
Because that's a gag in the movie in the prison where they ask for pudding and then they use their like family recipes to cook up pudding.
Yeah.
It's just so silly. It's so funny.
It is weirdly dark that at the end of the film, like Paddington basically accepted his death by drowning. You know, like he has that moment where he's like, "No, this is
What
it."
else could he have done? He's tried his best.
There are many dark scenes. There's a lot of dark moments. Like when he gets arrested. Yeah, the whole prison thing. But the way it's presented visually, it's fun. Like the pink suits make the scene funny, and like that whole prison bit. It did remind me a lot of the Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I was gonna
like Grand
say.
Budapest, especially. Like because there is a whole prison break sequence.
I
in
love
that.
the miniature shots in both films.
Yeah, it's just it did remind me of that a lot. Definitely, maybe a homage. You know, you could say it's an homage.
It really felt like watching a storybook with the vibrant contrasting colors and the framing of everything, and just the way the movie kind of works.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned this storybook scene where like he's going through his storybook, the pop up with his aunt.
Yeah, of course.
That's one of the highlights of the film for me. I thought that whole sequence was great.
The 2D animation coming in as well in this one. I
When they were
appreciated that.
showing like the crime, like what could have happened, or like what the testimony was versus what actually happened. Yeah, that was really awesome. The different, like it was always visually, like there was a lot of variety visually. It was always interesting.
Very visually stimulating, yeah.
Even if you're not invested in like the emotions or the anything characters, like visually it is so strong. They put so much thought and work into it. It's so perfectly done in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you really can't take away from like the craft of the movie. Like it's just so well made.
Yeah, great music, both films. Good music. Didn't feel like inappropriate. Wasn't annoying.
Yeah, never distracting. Yeah.
Lots of cameos. There was Richard Ayoade. I've never learned how to pronounce his last name. The forensic investigator.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Hines, which I'm only mentioning because I still don't know if have either of you seen Spaced? I think I asked this a long time ago and neither of you did.
I've seen a few episodes. I can't remember it. I've got to go back. It's
really
one of
fun.
my egregious.
So this is just a reminder to watch Spaced. Edgar Wright, Jessica Hines, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. It's great. All right, yeah, I'm pretty much done talking about this. I think we got it.
Yeah,
I think we got it. Yeah, I mean, I really liked it.
They're simple and they're just so clean.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're clean visually. The writing's clean. They're witty. The emotional resonance from the second one really got me going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Connecting with this character who I'd previously never cared about, and I kind of get the Paddington hype now. I appreciate the character and what he stands for, and there's definitely a charm about him, and it's the kind of Britishness that I appreciate. The second one especially.
Oh, bother.
Yeah, the second one especially made a bit more of an effort to kind of show the mixing pot of London and all the people on the street coming together to like help each other. You know, this homely theme of everyone working together and being nice, and if everyone was just nice to each other, there's that rhyme that Sally
Hawkins,
sorry, has about being nice, and it's very pure and totally appropriate and incredibly well made. I would give Paddington 2 a 4-star probably.
Bam. I'd rate it about the same as the other one, even though like I think there are significant improvements made in this one. And like visually it's so strong. The technical parts of it are so strong. As a film, I think it's really well done. So like 7 out of 10. Like 3.5 out of 5.
pretty much with you. 7 out of 10. It's a high 7. We'll see if that changes at any point. It's a lot of fun. A lot of good moments. I had genuine laughs from both films, which is more than I can say about a lot of kids' movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The child actors didn't annoy me.
It does really stand out.
Yeah, smiling a
In that
lot.
regard.
Yeah.
Very inoffensive and just very pleasant. A pleasant viewing experience. Put that on the DVD and give me Paddington 3.
Definitely recommend that as a family film. Yeah, like you watch that, that's a safe bet. Bet you'd all like it.
Yeah.
And I think they're planning a third one.
Are they?
I wonder if
Been
they'll
a
be able
while.
to pull it together.
Yeah, they should do it.
Yeah, it has been a while. They did announce it after
Let's see.
Paddington 2.
Officially in the works as of February of this year, it says, is this Variety.com article.
I'm hoping Paul King's attached. Because we didn't really mention the budget, because the budget on Paddington 2 is estimated to be about 40 million.
Yeah. It's like lower than the first one, if Google is accurate.
Yeah. Well, there was a piece of trivia that was describing the first Paddington as an independent movie, and I wasn't really sure what they meant by that. Independently funded, I guess.
I mean, you can have like a technically independent movie.
Yeah, but it's still like 55 million.
Yeah, like the most expensive independent movie ever made was like Luc Besson's fucking stupid Dane DeHaan space French. Like, I don't know what the fuck he was doing.
Mm. Oh, Valerian.
Valerian, yeah, like that's an independent movie apparently.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just not what you think of when you think indie movie. I know. But,
No, I don't really think of Paddington in that way either.
yeah,
But
independently funded with producers, just not a studio.
that is interesting, actually, that the budget is lower on that second one, if the estimations are correct. 'Cause
Yeah,
the second one, I think, is more impressive visually, and you know, just anything technical.
yeah. I guess there were less sets. Probably a lot of it was in the prison.
I suppose maybe the CG was a bit cheaper.
Probably, I mean, like, yeah, improved CG, you know, like the technology is just better, so might not have cost as much to make. They might have just
They just outsource it for dirt cheap anyway, don't they?
yeah, just pay the animators less. And,
Yeah. Give half the budget to the actors, and there you go.
yeah, and it was a success. Hopefully number 3 is good.
Okay, let's head over to the suggestion thread in the Sardonicast subreddit. Head over there if you want to leave any question for us. CC Buddy Ryder is going to start us off. I have a friend that listens to his favourite movies in the car as if they were audiobooks. I thought that was strange, but then I listened to Naked on a long drive and actually really enjoyed it. My question is, what movies would work well as audiobooks?
That's weird.
The Before trilogy,
It's super weird. I've never heard of anyone doing this before.
just talking.
The what trilogy, sorry?
The Before trilogy, yeah.
Can't do a foreign movie.
Yeah, any dialogue
Yeah,
heavy.
anything based on a play. I was thinking 12 Angry Men.
Yeah, you could do Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Doubts.
You know, it's
right.
based off of a play. Yeah, 12 Angry Men's a good example. You're right. Yeah, dialogue heavy movies.
Hateful Eight.
There you go. Nothing with subtitles. You'll crash.
Yeah, nothing. You can't do anything foreign unless you speak that language.
You could just listen to like an audiobook too, you know, right?
Yeah, you can do that. Or you can listen to the subtitled version of the...
It's definitely not the ideal way.
Or the dubbed version. That's what I meant to say.
Listen to the described video for the visually impaired version. If it's a big movie, they'll have that.
Yeah.
It's in the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with the play stuff. That's the only way I can imagine this being a valuable experience.
Does Tenet have
Yeah.
described video for the visually impaired? Because if I had some, if literally
Oh my
there was
God.
like a studio mandated individual that was explaining what the fuck was going on in that movie the entire time, I think I would
Yeah.
love to watch
That would
whatever
be
version of the
awesome.
movie that is. I gotta check to see if the Blu-ray has that. Holy shit!
Yeah, that would be funny.
Oh my god, I gotta watch that.
What is it called? Like
Describe the video
exact,
for the visually impaired blind people movie.
Okay, I'll see if they got it.
You could listen to podcasts while you're driving.
Yeah. And then you watch the movie after, when you can actually have your eyes on it, because it's a visual medium.
Yeah, my brother was doing some stupid shit like that at one point. He's just fucking
Oh, really?
watching.
Just
He
listening to
he
them.
hacked his like driver's display or something so that he could watch Entourage while he was driving on the highway. I was like, what? He's changed.
Watch Entourage on the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could watch Crash.
GGG375 has one. What's the most try-hard performance of all time? Someone who swung for the fence and failed miserably.
Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah, you said it.
Did he really swing, though?
I think he swung.
I don't know. I think he believes he did. I guess what's the difference at that point?
Yeah, he clearly tried, right? He was trying his best.
But it seemed more like an ego trip than a genuine, like, performance thing.
Yeah, that's why it didn't work, and it's so embarrassing.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if he really tried. I think that there's, like, parts of his psyche that didn't try, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. How much do you blame Jared Leto for that mess that is, like, Suicide Squad?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because, like, he wouldn't have been in charge of choosing that, like, costume designer. Because it started with that, really. The moment that was tweeted, that Joker was tweeted, it was over. For the damage.
It really
It's
damaged the character, yes.
That was a huge warning sign that something was not right.
Red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Redmayne in Jupiter Ascending is a good example, I think.
Yeah,
Because he definitely tries in that. He definitely gives it his all.
Yeah, he's yelling.
He's not underacted. He probably did exactly what the Wachowskis asked for. It just did not work very well. And yeah.
Yeah, he was giving it 150%, wasn't he? Lots of screaming.
Would definitely recommend that movie. It's really funny. It gets funnier as it goes along. The more we see of him screaming, the funnier the movie is, and he screams more as the movie goes along. You could say the exact same thing, actually, about Tobey Maguire in the film Brothers. That's another good example that gets funnier as it goes along because he screams more as the movie progresses. He tries. I think he even got a Golden Globe nomination, but I think he kind of sucked in the movie. It was pretty funny and stupid.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I can't really remember.
Yeah, I've got the, I forget which country. I think it's Scandinavian. There's like an original Brothers movie that it's apparently a remake, and so I kind of want to see what the original was like. Yeah.
I'd say that about the new Capone movie with Tom Hardy. I think he's a good
Yeah.
actor, but that really didn't, like that fell off hard. Like,
Very weak.
it almost has the reputation of gaudy at this point. It's not quite as bad, but yeah, like he's just not that great in it. He's trying really hard. He's supposed to be older, too.
Yeah, Gotti's one, I suppose.
Yeah. I don't think he was trying at all.
I suppose, yeah, if trying is...
Yeah, like putting on his cologne.
The ultimate one to me is Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah, I just can't think of anyone else.
Anything beyond.
Exactly.
Nothing on that level, anyway.
At least for a while. Like, that's the most recent example of, like, a huge performance that just... Like, no one felt... Like, that was bad. Yeah, that's it. That's all I could think of. All right, next.
Oh my god. Sorry. Sorry before you start. I was just I was trying to search this entire time just to see if Tenet had described video. There's like a American Council of the Blind website that has a whole list of them, and it seems like Tenet is on there, so I'm gonna have to snag a copy of that.
Good. Okay, so I have the Blu-ray ready. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to
It says
look.
DVD, iTunes, and Prime Video.
I'm gonna have to look at that right after this.
You'll have to let me know if it's funny.
Yeah, please confirm that for me. I will buy it. For that.
Definitely by tonight. I'll check it.
What are they gonna say?
HAL 9 billion has one for us.
Right.
Since Adam has apparently not seen a lot of movies many consider childhood classics, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, etc., in his actual childhood, what are some of the movies you grew up with? Parentheses, the question is for everyone.
Obviously, The Lion King. I watched Terminator when I was really young for some reason. Die Hard. I guess, like, yeah, among the... I don't know, Jurassic Park, yeah. That shit gave me nightmares. I'm trying to think of, like, Richie Rich. That was a bad movie. Fucking...
Any other kids' movies like Lion King?
Pocahontas, you know, I don't know. Random Disney movies, but there were ones that kind of stuck with me a bit more. There was ones that... it was called, like, The Princess and the Goblin. It's not that popular. And I rewatched it again as an adult before making my childhood trauma series thing. Because I remember being, like, a bit scared at some of the scenes there. It didn't wind up making it into the video, but when I watched the movie again as an adult, I was like, wow, this is actually kind of surprisingly competent. It actually wasn't that bad of a movie for, you know, a dumb kids animated thing. Yeah, I don't know. There's, trying to think of some that really stuck with me. I guess a lot of them are repressed. I don't know. But, like, I guess if we're going into, like, the genre of, like, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, you know, Back to the Future, like these gigantic trilogies and stuff, like, I don't know. It depends on what age, because I grew up with Lord of the Rings. I grew up with Spider-Man. I wasn't, like,
Matrix.
Yeah, Matrix. Like those. Yeah, those were the things that I kind of grew up with. Like I was still not like a baby. I wasn't like a really young kid when those came out. I don't know if there was like a big, everybody's seeing it trilogy sort of thing that I was super into or exposed to when I was really young. I don't know what age people are asking about really, so.
Yeah, I'd say you answered it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it is Star Wars, Indiana Jones. I did love Back to the Future. I loved The Incredibles, Iron Giant. What else we took? I love Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
Stop motion, Nightmare Before Christmas.
So, I mean, you were both younger than me, and so for both of you to be exposed to those like 80s trilogies, it must have just been because your parents enjoyed them and showed them to you, right?
Yeah, my dad showed me Star Wars and Indiana Jones.
Because my dad doesn't like Star Wars, so it never happened.
There you go.
Right, so I don't know.
Yeah.
He's probably just didn't like those same things.
The Phantom Menace would have been the first film I went to the cinema for, but
Wow.
on the like adverts beforehand, they showed footage from E.T. and I had like the childhood trauma from E.T. So like I started freaking out, and
That's
my
funny.
dad had to like take me out because I was only a little kid.
Oh, that's so funny.
I was like 6 years old, so I missed out on the best movie ever, man.
I got the episode 1 Phantom Menace as a VHS for my birthday from my uncle, but I was so young at the time, and I kind of feel bad about it. But I was like, I don't like Star Wars. He's like, what? You don't like Star Wars? Because it's like everybody's supposed to like Star Wars. I don't like Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're cool. What about you, Ruff?
I don't know. Like all the same shit. Star Wars. I grew up with Pixar a lot, so I would say mostly Pixar. Like I grew up with that stuff as they came out too.
Yeah.
Star Wars and that stuff. I learned from my friends, and I got it from my friends and that kind of stuff.
Well, of course, the prequels were coming out when I was a kid, so I was into those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I watched those. I'm like, oh yeah, these are fun, because my brain couldn't process that they were terrible.
I was
Yeah.
old enough
Yeah.
when the prequels were coming out, but still a kid. I still have memories of like the marketing of it and the way people reacted to it.
Oh, so do I.
Oh yeah. And I remember like fucking little kids in school were like, "Oh, Yoda's doing flips now." It's like it was actually working. Like, but now it's like, oh, it's kind of fucking stupid. But
Well, no, it's spinning back around now.
like, oh, it was like the coolest thing ever. Like they turned it up. He can do flips. You actually see him fighting. But it's like, I don't know, kind of, it's not great for the character now. But
Goosey McGooseface 2 has one for us. Do you think that there is snobbery in the cinephile community? What is the best way
Yes.
to curb it? Absolutely there is. Have you ever, like, just look on, like, Letterboxd, like, reviews and, like, go into the comments?
yeah, I don't know. It's one thing to be confident in your own perspectives and opinions and argue to the death over your own justification for how you feel about a film. It's another thing to get worked up over somebody else not sharing the same experience that you did.
Yeah, it's the discourse that ruins it.
And I think the more people that understand that over time, the less toxic film discussion will be. Because there's genuinely, unironically, people saying like, "Oh, your perspective is wrong," based off of like literally just an emotional experience, literally just a number with no context, like a 5 out of 10 rating.
Yeah, and people they forget that people are in different points of their tastes. In terms of, there's so many different ways to absorb something like film. It's so broad. It's pointless to start grouping people and mocking people for certain things. For like, it's categorized as like the first film fans, like their favorite movies, like Fight Club, and they got the Pulp Fiction poster and stuff. And it's just silly. Like, it's not the way consuming art works. It's pointless to go down to that kind of level, because everyone's on a different playing field. Everyone's experience is different. I don't know what the best way to curb it is. I don't think it's possible online, really.
The best way to curb it is to make it really uncool to be one of those people. The best way to curb it is to get enough people being like, "Whoa, you just said that? That's fucking cringe, bro." That's how a lot of things go. Is like,
but I mean, we've been doing that for years, but like, it's not stopping people.
I don't know.
They just make, they just make some fucking random account and do it anyway.
It's not. You can't possibly stop a certain way of thinking globally for every person, right?
Yeah.
But you can make it so that they're not as like emboldened about it, and thinking that it's not like a stupid thing to say, I guess. Yeah, and I mean, like, the best way you can do that is just within your own community. There used to be a lot of people on my gaming channel videos that would be like, "You're playing the game wrong because you're not doing this in the right order, and you're not doing," like, I would just fuck around and be like, "Haha, this is fun. I want to do this." Like, "You're ruining the immersion." I'm like, "Fuck off! I'm playing a game, right?" And so I addressed it enough times in my gaming channel that now it's kind of a meme. And because it's kind of a meme, now if anybody unironically tries to make that argument in the comments sections, they're downvoted, and other people will be like, "Oh god, it's like the meme came true," right? You just make it uncool, and then all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, I guess this is kind of stupid." If you address it enough times, then eventually, I guess in your own communities, then you can help shape the way that people are critical about their own thoughts and about their own perspectives, or what they might want to add to the discussion. Or I think that any way you can get people to be more introspective about their own thought processes is always a good thing. And that involves yourself as well.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to really broach it, to be honest. It seems so broad, like that everyone likes movies and everyone has an opinion on movies. You can find any community like that you want for like any film group thing. It's just the way we work. I do agree, though. You can, I suppose, directly address it in your own community. But I guess I just mean broadly. I'm not sure.
There is no solution broadly.
The internet's like for arguing. Yeah.
It's not a thing. Right.
Yeah,
you have to be comfortable with the fact that other people exist, really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's end on this one from Pilot to City Bro. Sardies. Do you think Snyder's impact could actually cheapen the power of the director, considering his auteur-antics, changing the aspect ratio to 4:3, releasing a cut that is black and white, are just tacked on for no real reason? Since these elements have been used heavily in the advertising of the film, I'm worried that other studios are going to similarly stick on random gimmicks to their movies in post. Films like The Lighthouse or Bates, which actually use the filmmaking techniques of the past to the service of the story, could be totally swamped by random wannabes that are just trying to ape Snyds. Snydercast.
Snyds.
There's some
Like
truth
that.
to that, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pattern in the industry.
I mean, like, the 4:3 aspect ratio is just as arbitrary as any other aspect ratio. I guess one fits your TV better. Most people have widescreen TVs, but I don't know. It's like a creative choice. Yeah, I didn't see any benefit to the superhero genre having 4:3 like that. I wanted to see more of the screen, that's for sure. I don't know how many studios are actually going to do that, though. We'll see. Is it such a massive financial success, Snyder Cut?
That's what I want to know.
I don't think so. People are talking about it, but there are no box office numbers to like reflect it, because it's all on a streaming platform, so you never know.
Would people have seen it if it was in theaters? I don't know.
Wasn't it in theaters also? Wasn't it dual?
Was
or was
it?
it just
The Snyder Cut?
exclusively on HBO Max? I don't know.
I thought it just came out HBO Max. I mean, if it was in theaters, that's cool.
I think they want to do like an IMAX run at some point, but
Yeah. Fucking get it in some film festivals.
in our discussion, we barely even mentioned the aspect ratio.
Screen it in Cannes.
Yeah, because it's pointless.
Yeah, it's pointless. Yeah, it's just the fear with when anything kind of booms into success out of nowhere, the copycats are inevitable. We're seeing it with video game movies now. I just heard today Ghost of Tsushima's getting a movie, Sniper Elite or
really?
something's getting a movie. Yeah, they're really like jumping on that now. It's
I don't think that the experience of The Lighthouse is going to be cheapened by other movies deciding to be 4:3. Perhaps other people that don't really think about why a choice is made for a film will conflate the two of them and be like, oh, it's just the same thing. I don't care about those people. They're not gonna influence my opinion over a film.
Yeah.
It's not gonna change how I feel about the movie. They can believe whatever they want. It doesn't matter. So
Bang on. Yeah.
Excellent.
all right, thank you.
You did it.
For the questions.
Now I can eat some marmalade.
It's time for a film recommendation, and the recommendation is actually coming from a guest that is going to be on the next episode, and that guest is Shafrillas.
What?
Yes.
Happy 1 million subs. They wanted to talk about Whiplash, Damien Chazelle. I haven't seen it for a while.
Nice.
There's a 4K Blu-ray now.
Yeah, it's
I'm
been a while.
excited to see what it looks like on 4K.
Oh, really?
Oh
Awesome.
yeah, there is. I totally gotta get that because
Yeah, exactly.
I don't own it actually. So.
Yeah, we'll talk about Whiplash next time. And also probably Chaos Walking, because that will be out before the next episode in a digital form.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I let
Cool.
them know that I'm going to want to talk about Chaos Walking too. They said they'll try to catch it. So.
Okay.
All right. Thank you
Awesome.
for listening. If you don't want to be spoiled for Whiplash or Chaos Walking, see those films before the next episode of the podcast is out. These episodes come out every 2 weeks. You can listen to them early by going to sardonicast.com, signing up for premium $2 a month. You'll get them early. Also, patreon.com/sardonicast. Also, we got merch. You can buy some merch. We live in a society.
Yeah. Thanks.
We do.
Have a Snyderific week.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for
If
listening.
you start watching the Snyder Cut now, by the time the next episode comes out, you'll be ready.
Yeah.
Fucking long.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.